HLN Belgium.
I have to congratulate you. I really love this movie, and you are just a perfect fit for this movie. This is like the role of a lifetime. Can you talk a little bit about what it took from you? Like, how much of an effort was it to get into this into this role?
Yeah, biggest challenge of my career so far, yeah. Would argue that I'd had quite a challenging career prior to this role. But I was 23 when I took the role on.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to keep challenging myself.
Yeah. Was there ever a moment where you thought that you couldn't do it, that it was just too harsh? Because that's how the movie looks. It's just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that, probably every day.
Yeah.
To some degree. Yeah, I definitely felt incapable a lot of the time, but I only had to look as far as Angelina to see her wrestling with the same mission, probably to a worse extent. And so, yeah, my inspirations were at hand.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's surprising what you can achieve when you're inspired.
Yeah, you know what they say in the movie, right? If you can take it, you can make it. Yeah. So I was just talking to your co-stars, and they had beautiful stories about meeting Mr. Zamperini. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I met him 3 times in all. The first 2 times were prior to the shoot, and that was necessary for me to then go to Australia with any version of confidence that I knew the man.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember feeling this huge, quite overwhelming sense of awe. I don't think I've experienced anything like it before, where he was talking and then I became distracted by his legacy and his normality. And I could have cried, but if I'd have started crying, I don't think he'd have felt too sure about my appointment. So I obviously had to rein that in.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had these awesome occasions with him where it was totally relaxed in his house. We're going through his scrapbooks, and he was so seamless about it all. He'd been telling his story for over 50 years before I'd met him. So again, seamless, and he never made a big hoorah about it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he would never really talk about his emotions. He'd always make a joke about that part. So for me, trying to gain resource about his emotions, it was quite difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to read between the lines there and fill in the gaps yourself. But essential that I met him. And then there was the 3rd and final meeting, which was after the shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like we'd worked hard enough for me to be able to actually look him in the eye and feel like I'd done his story some justice. So, naturally that was my favourite meeting.
Mm-hmm. What was the biggest compliment that you've got from him?
Before shooting, he said he felt sure that I was the right man for the job. And he'd only met me a couple of times, and I never really had the audacity to expect that sort of validation that early. But he gave it me, he offered it me. And that in terms of my self-belief anyway, that was quite important to hear that before shooting. So I was equipped.
Wow.